Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox On channel host Sega Forever here. Doing a little bit of political podcasting today. A couple things that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to actually do some videos during the week, but got a little bit busy. But if you guys follow politics like I do, if you guys have the same political leanings that I do, there's been a crazy week, especially in Washington, D.C., with everything that's going on. And we'll talk about it on the podcast. Not sure if some of the guys will want to jump in. This isn't technically a podcast. This is just me just covering the current events for the week that revolves around politics. So, but if some of the guys jump in, that's fine. Definitely will be addressed in the chat. This will not be long because I do have other things to do. But I had to get this out today because there's other videos that I want to put out on the channel. A lot of it to revolve around gaming because there's a lot of stuff going on with gaming as well. Hopefully, I'll be able to. Like I knew Indiana Jones was coming out. I thought it was coming out next week, which technically it is on Game Pass. But they have an early preview that came out yesterday, I believe, on the 5th. And look, guys, like I tell you guys all the time, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I do keep up with gaming. I did get my gaming report card, which I want to talk about that as well. Not on this podcast, but probably tomorrow morning I'll do this. My time, which will probably be afternoon for you guys if you want to tune in. Um, but yeah, I got my report card from Microsoft. There's some stuff that I wanted to talk about. Talk about Indiana Jones. I think I'm going to try tonight if I have time, because I didn't know you could pre-order. Or I heard about the pre-order. Look, dude, it's hard for me to keep up with all this stuff. So it's my understanding it releases today, but only for those people who pre-ordered it. Right, so I should be able to go on and pre-order it. I didn't have even a chance to play games yesterday. I had to take a little bit of a break this week. Um, but if I turned on my Xbox though, I probably would have seen the advertisement for it because that's what Microsoft's been doing, or Xbox specifically. Is when they have a new game that comes out, they'll advertise it on the main page when you boot up your Xbox, which I think is smart. There's some people that are complaining about it, it's advertisement, all this kind of stuff. Look, for a person like me, especially somebody that's a pro Xbox player, pro Xbox channel that's dialed into the ecosystem, it works for me because I'm busy. I'm older than most of you guys. I can't keep up with everything like I used to. Um, so it helps me when I turn on my Xbox and bam, it's right there staring me in the face. And this is how I got a lot of the games before. I'm tracking them, man, but sometimes when you got a lot of stuff to do, guys, it's hard. It's hard to keep track of every single thing, and especially on the Xbox side. For all the hate that Microsoft gets with the Xbox, no games, the regular talking points that people like to use when it comes to Xbox, none of that's true. And this is why a lot of us actually struggle to play our games because there's so many games that's out there to play. There's so many games that are being offered either through Game Pass, either through the console itself. The Xbox is everywhere now, or trying to be everywhere. Heck, I'm even using the cloud service, which is actually working pretty good for me. It's not 100%, but it's way better than it was a couple months ago. So we have games to play. The problem a lot of us have, as you guys hear us as we talk about the podcast when it comes to gaming, is time. Right? Time is an issue, and even some aspects, money. Man, things aren't cheap anymore, guys. And we'll probably touch on this in this podcast. I just wanted to do some housekeeping really quick before we jump into this video. I'm gonna do a reaction video, technically a reaction video, kind of give my thoughts, and that's probably gonna be the majority of this video. But if everybody jumps into the chat, man, if anybody wants to come in, totally fine with it. As you can tell, Mr. Smith goes to Washington. It's been a crazy week um, for the president. A lot of the people that he's nominating to key positions in his cabinet, they're starting to meet and walk around, starting to speak, walking around Washington D.C., meeting all the senators and that's going to be voting for them or not voting for them on both sides, of course, but more naturally, it's going to be focusing more on the Republicans because that's what the president is. If you didn't know, he's running as a Republican, even though he's more of an independent and populist. Right? He doesn't toe the complete Republican line, which I don't blame him because the Republicans are just as they're not as bad as Democrats, but they in my opinion, Republicans are worse. At least Democrats they kind of stick together and they stay on point, they stay on message. It's very hard to shake a Democrat. They always stick together. Republicans are all over the place a lot of the times. This is where we come to the term rhino, Republican and name only. Because this is the party that I belong to, right? It's the party that I've been ever since the days of Reagan when I was young in my formidable years. It shaped me politically. This is why I fall on the right side. Um, though I'm definitely more of a conservative, and of course, being a Christian, that informs both my conservatism as well as my political leanings as far as Republican. Right? It's always God first. So But I grew up in that era. I grew up in the era of Reagan, and that's the Republican Party that I know. That's the Republican Party that I think Republicans need to get back to, because they're so far afield. A lot of the times, a Republican is a true Republican, a true conservative, if he gets attacked the most, or if somebody that's from the outside coming in, like President Trump. That's why a lot of the people that, that's why a lot of the times people kind of, uh, when they look at Trump, man, they think he's just a straight up Republican. He's nothing of the sort. He's not really even a conservative. He has conservative leanings. I'll give him that much. You can tell that he's a lot more conservative in his lifestyle just because of his age. That happens to a lot of people. It's actually natural. That's usually the natural progression of things. You tend to be a more liberal when you're younger, but as you get older, you start to become more conservative, especially if you start, having a family, have responsibilities, stuff like that. A lot of the stuff that people look at when they're younger changes, right? That's what I try and tell young members of my family. Like, look, the things that you feel about today, you might feel different, 5, 10 years from now. That's why I always try and let them know that if there's something that really matters to them, really look at it and see how that's going to affect them, not just for the moment, or not even from the past, but moving forward. Because at the end of the day, I tell them, you're going to be different 5 years from now. And I know I'm speaking from experience. I'm not trying to tell them to sway their vote or get them to think a certain way, man. I'm just being honest with them because that's been my life experience. That's the life experience of most people, right? But yeah, so we'll see how everything goes. We'll talk about it a little bit. I'm gonna play a video. Hopefully, my channel doesn't get striked because I'm gonna play something for Fox News. I don't think it will, just for the simple fact that I don't monetize, but I could be wrong. But hey, it's not like I get a lot of views on here, and I'm just saying that's just the reality of it, which is fine. But I do like the conversations I have with people, right? And I like to give my opinion and talk about it because there's this video that Fox News put out, Jesse Waters' show, and it was absolutely awesome. Really, I think it pretty much symbolizes um, and breaks down everything that's going on in this week and moving forward in the future. For a lot of you guys, I know either on the right or the left, there's some people on the right I feel like President Trump, is he really going to follow through, man? This dude is dialed in. I'm telling you, man, I was there in 2016 when I was really looking at it from a statistical point of view, from an analytical point of view for a lot of the classes I was taking. I can tell you this much, man. He is a different person. He's a different beast than he was in 2016. Some people think he's mellowed out. I mean, I think he's become a little bit more sage in a lot of the stuff that he's doing, right? Which is, par for the course, man. This guy, President Trump has been in the limelight not just the 4 years he was his president, but the 4 years afterwards, and all the trials and tribulations he had to go through. Basically baptism by fire. A lot of stuff he had to deal with, man. A lot of these people were trying to take him out because they knew if he ran in 2024, the chances of him winning, he was a big threat to them. Even though a lot of these guys sat there and said he's not a threat, he's a joke. Same mistake they made when he was running in 2016 for the presidency. Sorry, guys, wait for this. Again, this is the afternoon where I live, so a lot of people are coming home, so you can hear a lot of noises. I do apologize. Um, but that's the same thing they did in 2016. They even tried to do that. I mean, they did it in 2020. They definitely tried to get it in 2024, man. And they just went Democrats and liberals and leftists. They just went too many times to the well. And like he's a changed person, man. He learned a lot from 2016, and he definitely learned a lot from 2020, right? When he ran the second time, because the stuff that he's going to implement in 2024, some of that stuff he definitely would have done in 2020. He learned a valuable lesson about who to trust, who not to trust, who you could depend on. This is why he's making the choices that he's making. This is why it's throwing everybody off in Washington D.C., throwing them off their game because he's not following um, any type of particular roadmap that those guys are used to seeing. A lot of the times the mainstream media will have a certain approach to a person that they don't like, because a lot of them are biased. They're gonna select anybody on the. It's always gonna be a Democrat, and when they have the primaries, they even have favorites in that, right? So when they approach anybody outside of who they want selected, they go on full attack mode, and they have not been able to do anything to Trump. Even in 2016, 2020, they thought they had some success because of what happened with the election and what the results are. Again, I'll tell you guys this: there were people that flipped, but it wasn't that big. They should have won that second election. They cheated. And I know eventually one day that's all going to come to fruition. You see that happening now. As you guys know, you saw the current president or occupier, I call him in office because I think he's illegitimate. Um, but pardon his son, and there's various reasons why he did that. A lot of the stuff that you see going on right now is bringing everything to light. A lot of the stuff that I talked about all these years, and not necessarily on this channel, but just in political forums when I'm talking with people that are politically charged. I tried to keep my channel out of it, but I'm going all in this time because of 2024. Like a lot of people did. You saw a lot of people supporting that normally wouldn't have. I don't have a problem with supporting him. I don't really care what people say about me or if I get attacked or whatever, right? It's what it was more for me was that I was more focused on the on gaming for my channel, right? And then here and there you throw in little bars and stuff like that, but that would be the focus. And I've actually had people write me and tell me that this is a mistake me going down that road. I'm like, look, dude, if my channel was bigger, or maybe if that was this is my source of income or something like that, maybe I would think about it. But at the end of the day, I have to, like I tell you guys all the time, I have to do content on this channel that I like to do. Okay, it doesn't help me if I'm just doing stuff that people want me to do, but my heart's not in it. Like you guys know, I'm a huge Xbox guy. We talk about it all the time. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of Indiana Jones. A lot of the stuff that's being said, a lot of the stuff, the reviews that's coming out, and I'm not saying that I consider reviews, but more like just people who play it, and then you see their commentary and stuff like that. For the most part, it seems very positive. Again, um, I've been so charged into politics and stuff with going on in my life personally, with work and kids, family. The that we all do. I'm not trying to set myself up that I'm doing something extraordinary, but it's just the reality. There's only so many hours in a day, so I can't focus on this stuff. I ultra focus on the Xbox side as much as I have. I'm still keeping up with it, but not realizing that Indiana Jones. I knew it was coming out, but not knowing directly it was coming out, or about the preview stuff that they're doing. All of that stuff, dude. I might even buy tonight, play this weekend since I have time, right? Or there might be one of those games I might wait a little later to play, wait for it to come to Game Pass to play when I have time to pay a lot of attention to it, because it's my understanding that it's very story driven. The reviews that the commentary I've heard from people about the game has been nothing but positive all around. And some of the stuff that people complained about, it's more of a personal thing for those people. And then I might have the same commentary as well. I don't have to play. But at the end of the day, guys, honestly, politics has been a major focus for me. It normally is, but not on this level, dude. Because like I say on my channel, and what I've said before in another video, the things that are happening right now, if things happen the way that I think it's going to happen, that the way everything's getting set up, now that you have a new sheriff coming into town, dude, this stuff is astronomical. Like it's going to be historical. Like 50 years from now, when people look back, this is going to be a certain moment in time, right? If everything goes how I think it's going to go, but we'll still have to see, right? I mean, as you guys, like again, if you guys are politically charged like me, right? You saw a lot of President-elect Trump's nominees in Washington D.C. and the media went into full effect, attacking them. The only problem with the media is they have no credibility. It showed during the election. A lot of people are just not listening to them. A lot of these stations are they're losing views. There's small channels that talk about politics that are getting more viewers than these guys. Their sphere of influence is slowly dwindling, and it's been dwindling for years. It's just been in full effect in 2024 because a lot of people just woke up, And when I mean they woke up, I mean in a lot of different ways. Like you sat there and believed that the government was actually good for you, that they have your best interest in mind, especially when it comes to your well-being and your money, right? And then a lot of you guys found out over the last 4 years that none of that is true, and it probably really hit you hard in the last year and a half, 2 years, right? When you saw your money, your accounts shrinking, you saw your debt going up. A lot of you guys saw that you couldn't afford things that are necessities. It's always something when you can't afford stuff that's a luxury, but when it comes down to necessities, that's when a lot of people start realizing that something's wrong, and they start looking at things more closely. They start inspecting stuff for themselves. They start thinking for themselves and just not listening to what everybody's telling them. Because at the end of the day, it's where you are in your life and the experiences you're having at that moment in time, right? That's just the way it works, right? So if somebody's telling you that the economy is good and that the job market is good and there's no such thing as inflation, and you was paying $1.75 for eggs, but now you're paying $3.20, right? And it's not just the eggs. If it was just one or two items, it's everything has increased, right? So where people notice that the most is they grab the items that they normally get, right? Or let's just say you buy items that you normally buy, right? And then you go online and you realize like you're not expecting it to be expensive, right? So then something that you pay, like in my case, $90, there's 150. Then you're like, oh, you see people do that online. They'll just quick pause to look at their thing. They'll ask the person, oh, is there something wrong? Did you overcharge me or something? Because it's a shop, right? You're like, okay, well, normally this is like $90. So, that happens, whatever. Then people move on or whatever, stuff like that. But then when you start looking at how much stuff starts costing, and then you start making the adjustments you normally have to make, like every normal person does, right? When they have to budget, right? And then you're like, okay, well, like in my case, you're like, oh, well, I like to get some poke or I like to get some fresh fish and stuff like that. But now the fish is like $30. It used to be 14. Um, so I just cut out the fish, right? And then you just start making those little changes. And then when you make those little changes and it doesn't work and it doesn't help and the prices just keep going up, that's when people start noticing, and that's what's happening. Right? And you can sit on the news all day, all you want. You can be a political trumpet for these guys that want to sit there, argue with people like me online on Twitter, telling me, well, things might be more expensive, but it's not that bad, and Trump's a racist. That stuff all went out the window, dude. Again, just look at the election, look at the numbers. I know now people are coming in and saying, "Oh no, but look, she's catching up to them." It's like, dude, they're cheating. They're cheating, dude. Right? And when you ask me why do I think they're cheating, I'm like, okay, so if he has a lead in the state that he's in, and he's reached out into every demographic, not just the demographic he's supposed to win, and he might not have won the demographic, but he performed well in the demographic, better than any Republican, better than he's ever done. Right, so there's an actual set pattern that you can see. So when you try and throw something like, well, all these votes that certain people are getting right now, it doesn't match up. You guys gotta critically think about this kind of stuff, man. And I'm telling you that just because, look, for your own sake, man. A lot of people on the day after the election, the night of the election, and the day after the election, actually thought Kamala Harris was gonna win, even though she wasn't able to. When she ran for the first time, she got destroyed. Harry got a chance, right? They basically selected her. She wasn't picked by the people, and they wouldn't let her pick. They wouldn't let the people pick in the Democratic Party because RFK Jr. probably would have won, right? And that was ironic because then RFK Jr. he came over to Donald Trump. It's amazing to watch, dude. I'm telling you guys, if you guys just take the time to just start breaking this stuff down, it'll amaze you how all of this stuff works. Okay, but hold on one second, dude. I hope this channel's streaming. Oh, I see. I got somebody watching. All right, man. I hope you can hear me, dude. Check my channel, but it's okay, dude. We're gonna roll with this right now. Hold on one second, dude. What's going on here? I got this. Let me play this video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do this video, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts. All right. Because I thought this was absolutely fabulous, man. There's just so much drama going on top of Capitol Hill. But again, you have to break it to these dudes that nobody's listening to them. People are just waiting for the confirmation hearings to start and watch the fireworks go. And I'm not saying this stuff is in the bag, man. A lot of this stuff, a lot of you guys, okay, I'm going to say this, dude. A lot of you guys, because I see the comments when I'm on X, when I'm on social media accounts, when I watch video comments on YouTube videos, I know a lot of you guys are new to this, right? And you're going to get this is good, dude, because you're going to get a rude awakening. It's the same thing that happened to make this a video game thing is when Activision, King Blizzard, when Microsoft was trying to buy them. A lot of people in the gaming community, especially on the Xbox side, was like, okay, this should be fine, right? Because it checks all the boxes. And you saw what the FTC was trying to do, and how the FTC was trying to get other government agencies to jump on the bandwagon with them, right? This is politics. So a lot of you guys got a rude awakening to realize that a lot of times these agencies don't have your best interest at heart, right? And furthermore, it was interesting to see you guys realize that a lot of these people are appointed to these positions. You don't actually vote for them. You're voting for the people that appoint them, or kind of appoint them in some instances. Let's just be honest, right? But you basically saw it was a government machine in action, and so something that could benefit, especially Xbox guys or just gamers in general. I know a lot of PlayStation guys won't agree because they just hate it. Right? Hate Xbox, but at the end of the day, it benefits all of us, right? Because we're playing Black Ops 6, right? Call of Duty Black Ops 6 right now, and you get what is considered the best of the best. Okay, just being honest with you guys, right? You guys are getting the best of one of the best Call of Duties that have been played. I've seen people put video about certain things and stuff like that. I'm not trying to. That's a video for another time. But I'm saying just from the experiences a lot of people are having, everybody's really happy about this Call of Duty, right? And then when you're a company like Microsoft that owns them on a stable system like Xbox, right? With the backing that they have, it allows the creative people to make the game that they want to make, and that's what it boils down to the end of the day, right? So a lot of you guys saw that government overreach and how government actually works. They're supposed to be for the people, but they're not technically for the people, right? These guys have their special interests. They have people they're beholden to, certain voters, right? Stuff like that. So a lot of you guys got a taste of that. So if you think that's something, if you guys stick around and hang out and watch everything that goes on with this confirmation process, it'll absolutely blow your mind, dude. It'll be like the AKB thing, 1,000 times over, right? Because already, dude, if you're politically charged like me, or you paying attention to this stuff, you see everything, all the pieces fall into place, right? Like, there's a lot of people that are like on X right now saying, "Oh, this dude's a rhino, this dude's a rhino." I already knew these people were rhino. These guys have been rhino for a long time, right? Just because your name has a Republican, just because an R by your name doesn't mean that you're actually a Republican. You're a Republican again in name only, right? You don't pull the party line, right? You don't. For example, you saw President-elect Trump win on the level that he won and the way he won. So what you should be doing, right, is looking at his agenda and pulling your support behind it. And then these guys are sitting there, well, I have a mind of my own. I said, dude, he's the only thing keeping this party alive right now. And again, he's not technically a Republican. In a way, he's almost like a Republican in name only, if I'm being honest, because he doesn't toe the conservative line as hard, right? There's certain things, or the political line as hard, I should say, right? And that's been great for the Republican Party, because what people are looking for is somebody that's going to come in and shock the system, and that's what he's going to do. And that's why, if you guys are paying attention to what's going on in Washington this week, this is why these people are scared, right? Again, D.C. voted 93.7% for Kamala Harris. They know what time it is. Right? And then we'll play this video, and then you guys will see in detail. This is a great breakdown by Jesse Waters, where he talks about this way better than I could. But I will give you guys my commentary on it, okay, as I'm doing it. Bear with me, guys. But again, I'm just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Hold on, let me do this right, guys. Let me do this right. I want to kind of set this up for you. I don't think I can full screen this, can I? You know your boy, man. I'm not the most technically savvy guy in the world, but I do my best. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there we go. I'll increase it afterwards.
Ronald Reagan famously said this:
"We, as Americans, have the capacity now, as we've had in the past, to do whatever needs to be done to preserve this last and greatest bastion of freedom. In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem."
Government has only gotten bigger. We're 36
Truer words have never been spoken. That's why he's my favorite president.
trillion in debt, agencies are bloated, and bureaucrats have never been lazier. Biden spent 40% of his presidency on vacation, but compared to the rest of the government, he's a workaholic. A new Senate report says only 6% of federal workers go into the office 5 days a week. And if you don't count security guards and maintenance staff, only 1% of government workers do 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. 1%. Almost 90% of government office buildings are completely empty. So where is everyone? One manager at Veterans Affairs took a picture of himself working from a bubble bath. He called it "my office for the next hour." What kind of man takes a bubble bath? Men age out of bubble baths at 5. If you're a guy and you're alone in a bubble bath, that's a problem. You have to have someone with you. Remember when the GSA got caught in a Vegas bubble bath holding a California?
So, and that's the crazy thing about all this stuff, man. These guys get so comfortable, they tell on themselves. Again, I've talked about on my channel what happened with big tech. Right, with big tech, you had a lot of people sharing videos about their workday. And at the end of the day, man, you know that these people don't sit there and actually think about what they're doing or think about what they're sharing, right? Because that, like I just said, they become comfortable in those positions. And then what's even worse is they just assume that it's that they're entitled to it, and that's what happened in tech as well, right? When people are sharing their day, what they do in a day, the money, if you really think soberly about it, right, you got to look at the amount of money that you're making, and if you're earning that money, and for a lot of that stuff too, dude, it's also self preservation because you got to look at yourself as in the career that you have, right? Like if you know that you get paid a certain amount of money, right? Instinctively, you should know how much you're worth as well, right? Because a lot of people that want to climb the ladder, right, they want to make sure that they're getting paid their worth, and then when they're going for a promotion, right, you got to make sure that you're worthy of that job. You do the checklist. You sit there and say, okay, well, I do this, I can do that, right? And so you're constantly, that should be just a natural thing. But then for some reason, and I don't know if this is a new generation thing or not, a lot of people, they don't take the time to realize or think through things when it comes to stuff that they do at their job, like this, which I think is absolutely hilarious. These guys tell on themselves all the time, and that's why they get in trouble.
California cab, yeah. And the only federal workers showing up to the office are having sex with each other. If you caught the show yesterday, we reported a Breitbart exclusive, a major scandal rocking the VA. Our report stated there was a 12-person orgy, but we have to issue a correction. It wasn't a 12-person orgy. It was 15. We apologize to the 3 we left out. And they've all resigned, but don't worry, they get to keep their pensions.
Man, that really ticks me off, guys, because I'm actually a veteran. I get VA benefits.
Employees to have sex with each other at work.
Absolutely not.
So why is it that we have at least 15 Mountain Home, Tennessee VA employees who have allegedly had sex on the VA property? They've not been disciplined.
Those actions are reprehensible, extremely inappropriate. We also have seen every implicated person leave the VA, resign, and an investigation is underway across all of the leaders and individuals involved here.
If it's not hot tubs or orgies, it's alcohol. 2 years ago, Nancy Pelosi opened up a liquor store in Congress. And yes, they cater. So if any politicians want to knock back a cognac or have a glass of Pinot, Nancy's waitstaff will bring it straight to your office. No wonder they spend so much money. They're all drunk. And we're not talking about a glass or two here and there. Members of Congress can order cases of wine and liquor. Cases. We found some items Congress has been spending money on, and it has to be after a few rounds. Are you ready? $500,000 for an IHOP in D.C. What, Jerry Nadler need his pancakes?
So just really quickly on this as well, a lot of times what happens, if you guys didn't know, like Hawaii, like one of the biggest, where I live, like one of the biggest employers for the state of Hawaii is actually the federal government. Right? We have a lot of, we have VAs, we have medical hospitals, we have a military prison here to represent every single branch, from the Army to the Marines to the Navy and even the Air Force. And so we have a big military presence here, okay? And then with everything else that comes along, right, with the administrative and all this kind of stuff. So what tends to happen when you have strong federal presence, strong military presence, is there's a set standard that happens across the board that people understand. So, for example, if you've ever lived outside of a military base, you understand what COLA is. You understand what VHA, BAQ is. They might have changed that. I haven't been in the military in a while. But anyway, sometimes because of that federal funding, right, it actually changes the economy on the outside, and not just around the bases, for the entirety of the state, right? And so I know a lot of people think this is ridiculous, $500,000 for IHOP, which is ridiculous. I'm not saying that it's not. But what tends to happen is because it's just like how big tech. This is a better example. So if you guys know, like a lot of times when if you use Northern California, right? Because I was actually stationed there. So Northern California, before tech blew up, right? But it was the breeding ground for a lot of these .coms, a lot of these companies before they blew up were going over there. Everybody was going there, mostly for networking. And what ended up happening was the industry kind of started there, and it just blew up, right? All these companies became, $1 million companies, $1 billion companies, right? They became successful. People were going there. More people were moving there. And then they were making more and more money, so people were getting paid more. So what happens is, because of that economy, because tech was building that economy, it actually affects all the areas around it, right? So this is why you hear, if you want, just go on YouTube. You can see these ridiculous stories where people were renting out tents, right? Because they make six-figure salary. They work at a tech company making really good money, but because there's not enough of affordable housing, or not enough there's not enough housing in the area to buy, or there's housing there but they're way too expensive. So of course it's a dog eat dog thing. So even though you're making six figures, you can't afford it. So but the guy making 7-8 figures can. You see what I'm saying? So it drives the cost up of everything. The cost of living in that area goes up. This is because I see people talk about this all the time. How is this possible? Right? And what ends up happening is that the price in all these areas end up increasing. So perfect example in DC, one of the most expensive places to live is across DC in uh, Northern Virginia. Okay, there's this upper part of Virginia. This is why Virginia, like in the beginning, when there's elections, Virginia is always trending red, and then at the end it switches to blue because all the people that work in DC and stuff like that live over in Virginia on the northern part of Virginia. And if you go look at the houses and how much they cost, that's because of all the lobbyists, all the special interests, all the government workers that make a lot of money live in those areas. Okay, so I mean, I just wanted to say that because I know that sounds ridiculous, but I mean, I kind of see that here where I live as well, where things will be more expensive just for the simple fact that you have the government is so big here too.
Almost 2 million for holograms of dead comedians. 3 million for girl-centered climate action group in Brazil. Sounds kind of like porn. 45 million on DEI scholarships in Burma. Isn't everyone in Burma DEI? And they still had about $150 billion left over to spend on illegals.
And that's why we piss a lot of people off with the DEI stuff, right? I've mentioned this before on other videos on this channel. I'm talking about Africa and how Africa, we're trying to impose our values upon Africa. Africa, of course, most of the nation states there, very patriarchal, very traditional. You have Christians, you have Muslims, you have people that don't agree with the lifestyles that um, these our government's trying to push on them when it comes to DEI, when it comes to homosexuality, any of that stuff, right? And so it's interesting because you come in with the hand of like, okay, we can help you with this, but then they look at what you believe and what you do, and it says, oh, if you want our help, you need to change this about your culture, right? And that's what pisses a lot of people off about the DEI stuff in other countries, because we're basically, it's the same thing when if we try to go in to make it more easy for people, especially those of you guys who lean left and might watch this video. It's just like if we go in and we try to nation build in countries that we know we shouldn't be nation building in, right? Because even though in America we have a sense of, okay, freedom's good, democracy is great, giving people women's rights and stuff like that. When you go to certain countries, they don't believe in that, right? So then we want to impart on them. We want to help them understand. It's the same thing, and that's why nation building fails as well.
Last year, 150 billion with a B. If you're wondering, the Manhattan Project, adjusted for inflation, only cost 30 billion. The Panama Canal, 15 billion. The Hoover Dam, 1 billion. You don't need a PhD in economics to know we're getting ripped off.
Unless you don't have a brain above a single cell organism, you know that there is waste in the federal government. There's enormous waste. Cutting waste up here is kind of like going to heaven. Everybody wants to do it, but nobody's quite ready to make the trip.
That was until today. Trump finally got Elon out of Mar-a-Lago and sent him to Capitol Hill. And he brought someone special. And we're not talking about Vivek.
Elon, how's the meetings been today? How do you win over people who say Doge doesn't have any power? Do you think you can still...
That's the press right there, dude. See, that's what I was talking about earlier when I was ranting a little bit. That's all. They 24/7 nonstop. They're always on the attack.
Elon, how do you define?
This dude just basically destroyed the media, destroyed the political system during this entire run up to the presidency. He's one of the big reasons why Trump won. And they still be talking trash to this dude. That's why they always lose.
Success for
And this is why people hate the media.
Doge. Elon, do you want to see Democrats here?
Trump's taking a blowtorch to D.C. The goal is to cut $2 trillion from the budget. And if you're working from home, you're not working hard enough, so pack your bags. Here's Vivek.
The idea of reducing the federal employee headcount is not really about saving cost. Part of what you have is an overgrown federal government that is doing things that were never supposed to be done by the federal government in the first place. You look at the number of times in the last 2 years alone, or 2 to 3 years, that the action of a federal agency has been struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court. So I think part of the project of thinning out the federal bureaucracy, that's less about the headcount expenses, and it's more about actually respecting the rules of the road in the constitutional republic.
Yeah, this dude, man. If you haven't been keeping up with what this guy talks about, you really got to go look at all the stuff that he says. Right? Exactly right. Dude, a lot of this stuff isn't just about getting rid of people. It's about the waste, the fraud, and the abuse, which is a lot of it. And when I say that, it's not just necessarily like somebody getting over or somebody being crooked, right? It's something as simple as administrative mistakes, right? Like I can speak on this, right? Say like you're responsible for certain type of equipment, say computers, right? So there's a process to procure the computers, right? You gotta get approval for the money. You have to go through this process, right? And say you go through the process and everything's fine, and then you get the equipment. Then when you get the equipment, there's another process to disperse the equipment, right? And then when the equipment's dispersed, then there's somebody that's got to be held responsible for that, right? And when that person becomes responsible, he's the person that signs his name on the dotted line. Then he has a process that he has to follow to make sure that nothing happens to the equipment. If the equipment needs to be replaced, maybe the equipment you got is broken, right? So if it's broken, right, you got to deal with the person that you bought the equipment from. So there's a whole other process. So there's a lot of processes, this kind of stuff. What tends to happen is when the process is broken or is not followed correctly. So let's just say like maybe they didn't put a number on it to track it, right? The equipment's there, but there's no tracking element to it. So you just see it physically. Say something happens where that office moves because they have to. Maybe there's water damage, right, in the office. Maybe there's a thunderstorm, the roof leaked, your equipment got damaged, but because you don't have the proper paperwork, you didn't tag it correctly, all of this stuff, this equipment gets lost in the mix. Now, nobody stole it. Nobody took it. It could be broken. It could be working, right? But it doesn't matter, right? It just falls off the map, right? So then when you come back and you do an audit, right, and you're looking for this equipment, right, and it's not there, right, and then you don't have a paper trail saying where it went, or if you understood that it was that there was like the office got damaged, it probably got moved, and you got to go look for it, or not only did it get moved, but it was damaged. Then you got to say, okay, well, how was this turned in? And you don't have the paperwork, right? That's what he's kind of talking about right there. All these processes. There's so many processes when it comes to federal government service, when procurement, all that stuff, right? That things get lost in the cracks, man. So at the end of the day, when like if you guys didn't hear the news, right, the Department of Defense failed the 7th audit in a row. And I'm not saying that there's nothing crooked going on. They need to look into that. I'm not saying that people aren't getting over. There probably people are. I can tell you a bunch of stories that I've been explained to because I've had to go to training for this stuff, right? It's all there, right? But then a lot of this stuff is that the process is broken and people aren't following procedures. And one of the reasons why the procedures aren't being followed as well, right? There's reasons for that as well. It's not necessarily all bad, but that's what he's talking about, and that's what he talks about a lot. Vivek Ramaswamy. That's what he talks about a lot. He understands, right? Because this dude's a billionaire. He's run his businesses. When it's your own money, right, and it's your own business, and you want to be successful, you'll pay attention to the details. And when you see when something's broken, you want to fix it right away. Because unlike the federal government relies on people's taxes. So if you have a spigot or a continual incoming of income tax and stuff like that these people get, the money that they get, right, they don't have to worry about it because the tax. It's coming from the people, and you get a certain amount every year. When you have your own company and your own business and you're responsible for it and it's coming out of your own pocket, it means a little bit more, right? So that's just the one thing I like about this guy. Because some people, like especially the media, they're fear mongering. They're like, it's about jobs. And I'm not saying jobs won't get cut. They're going to look at everything. And I'll be honest with you guys. You guys know, if you follow me on this channel, you know I'm a scorched earth kind of guy. And I'm not just saying going with the nuclear option just to go with it. It's broken. In fact, it's so broken, to me, it'd be easier to just kill all this stuff and build back from the ground up. That's what I'm telling some of my friends. I'm like, look, let's get our resumes in order, man, because you don't know what's going to happen. Because at some point in time, man, this stuff might not be able to be fixed. Not with a scalpel, man. It's going to need an axe.
Doge is taking aim at illegal regulations. And now the second richest man in the world is asking, how can I help?
This blows my mind. This blows my mind.
Very hopeful about this. He seems to have a lot of energy around reducing regulation. And my point of view, if I can help him do that, I'm going to help him, because we do have too much regulation in this country. This is the most important thing, a growth mindset. And we are the luckiest country in the world. We have all these natural resources, including energy independence. He's probably grown in the last 8 years. He has too. What I've seen so far is that he is calmer than he was the first time and more confident, more settled.
The two richest men in
I know I keep on stopping the videos, guys, but I just got to get my commentary on this stuff, right? It amazes me because a lot of these guys, yeah, Trump was a radical in the 2016, but a lot of people were trying to take him out. They treated him as a joke. A lot of people did not like him. They're coming after him. Media was constantly attacking him. For all of these dudes that are sitting here talking about that kind of stuff, dude, they would crumble under the pressure. Fast forward to now, Trump was almost assassinated. Once we saw, and then the second was a plot to assassinate him, right? So this dude has been living in that zone for over 8 years, right? No, 12 years technically, right? No, 8. It's 2016 to 2020, yeah. So technically 8 years, right? But it's interesting to me, right? Because it took somebody. You know why Bezos is doing this as well, right? He's seeing that a lot of people that are coming, they're basically bending the knee to Trump. And it happened in 2016, if you guys remember, right? A lot of people talk trash about him. As soon as he won that election, everybody was in shock. But a lot of these dudes, man, a lot of these business guys, a lot of these people in the know, right? What did they do? They ended up going to meet Trump at his Trump Towers in New York City, man. That was all over the news. And everybody, man, tech moguls, business moguls, political guys, people broke bread with him, that hated him, that didn't support him, all of that stuff, dude. And you kind of seeing that now in 2024, but not as much, right? And so like that's why Bezos says he seems a lot more mellow. Yeah, because he's been through the fire, dude. You can't really tell this dude anything. And then what he did was he assembled a team around him that he can trust. That's the main thing. That's why, man, I'm hyped for this dude. Because these nominations that he's making, dude, they're outside the box, man. They're what's needed, especially now in this country, man. There needs to be a change, and he's the dude to do it. And when you hear guys like him, of course, when Elon Musk came over, that was a big thing. Vivek's been on board since from the jump, but Jeff Bezos is coming around. Zuckerberg, that prick, you guys know I don't like Mark Zuckerberg, right? That he went to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Trump. I'm understanding Bill Gates, right? Anyway, we'll try to keep it PG on this. Bill Gates is also talking about working with the administration. Of course, they want to work with the administration. Dude. This dude is fixing to change everything. He's about to upend politics, dude.
the world are going to streamline the government to run it like a corporation.
Yes.
And now the third richest man wants in. Mark Zuckerberg just made a pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago to talk shop with Trump.
Even Mark Cuban.
And everyone's on notice.
Loser.
Executives from big pharma companies like Pfizer flew
awesome.
down to Mar-a-Lago this week to have dinner with Trump. And 47 brought a surprise guest. RFK Jr. came and sat down at the table with the big pharma executives so we can live fact check. Besides MAGA, another topic of discussion, a cure for cancer.
Now, this was awesome that he did this because that was the rumblings that the big pharmaceutical companies wanted to come down and talk to him, right? But he didn't tell him that RFK Jr. was going to be in that meeting with him. So again, for a lot of you guys that are out there worried that Trump is just going to use these guys and discard them, no, dude, he's all in. He's 100% all in. And dude, just listen to RFK Jr., man. I look and I'll vouch for this dude, man, because there's stuff I'm going through. And it's because of my age and the way my body is right now, dude. Like he makes a lot of great points. And I'm not saying that because of the whole political stuff, dude. For the last, 7 years? About 7 years I've been dealing with health issues. And it was interesting to me because I had to do my own research on it. Because a lot of times when I went to the hospital, they couldn't tell me really what was wrong. So I had to go on the internet, dude. I had to do research myself. I had to test stuff on myself, man, what I could eat, what I can't eat. Because doctors would tell me, health nutritionists, all these people said, it'd be great if you ate this type of food. Well, when I would eat it, I would be in pain. And then because of the situation I was having in my stomach, which is not specific, right? And they can't really tell me what's wrong. Yeah, for a normal person with a normal digestion, eating high fiber food is great. For me, no, it doesn't work out. And then I would tell them that, and then they wouldn't respond well to what I was saying to them, so I had to go out on my own. So I know 100% what he's talking about with the seed oils, all that stuff. And I'm not saying that, like some people are like worried that he'll become like an overarching People are making jokes about it on the internet, which is absolutely funny, but I don't think it's going to be that way. The most important thing, man, is to check these companies, make sure they're doing the things that's right, making things right, and then number one, giving people choice. At the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to, right? Even if it's with your health, dude, you get to choose what you do with your health, right? And then it's on you though, right? You have to take responsibility for that. But then there'll be guys like me that are out there that'll tell, like I tell one of the guys at work, I'm like, because he's having problems with his stomach, and I told him, look, dude, this is what I'm going through. Then we have a discussion. You go online, and then people helping each other out, right? That's what you need, not the government, not these corporations, man. Especially when there's money involved and greed. That's where this all gets bad. Look, dude, I'm a hardcore capitalist to the bone. I believe in this stuff, but I'm not a crony capitalist, right? Greed is greed at the end of the day, man. You got to do it. You have to, if you're gonna run a business, make sure that it's a business first. Man. Don't make it about all these causes. Don't make it about just being greedy and just wanting as much money as possible, right? There has to be some balance to it. And that's why these guys are scared, man, of what Trump's doing, man, because he's trying to bring balance to the force, dude. And you got the Sith and you got the Jedi Council fighting him on it.
It was a 3-hour dinner, probably because of the fact checking. And as it wound down, we're told DJ Donald Trump pulled out his iPad and blasted Pavarotti. Meanwhile, at the FBI, agents are gearing up for a big clash with cash. Mr. Patel, Trump's pick for director, says he wants to turn the Hoover Building into a museum for the deep state. And it's not going over very well.
Yeah.
I talked to a number of executives at headquarters who are absolutely have already polished off their resume as soon as Trump was named as winner of the election, and are out there actively pursuing other careers. Their chief concern, and what they're going to be keenly looking for, and we should all be looking for as well, is the degree to which a Patel in that position is going to impact the field offices. A clash is going to occur rather immediately. It's going to occur almost immediately. And again, this desire to do away with civil service protections, I'm sure the Agents Association and other law firms are ready to go on challenging that.
So
that's why he just should go in and just hatchet everything, right? Like number one, winning, right? You guys want to submit your resignation? Boom. You guys are upgrading your resumes, right? And don't get it twisted, man. A lot of these guys aren't doing it. There's good people. There's good people in federal service, man. Don't get me wrong. So the majority are good, right? But these aren't the guys that have to worry about it. A lot of the people you hear about doing, a lot of the times when you hear this in news that people are doing this, where they get their resume polished, they're ready to sign in the resignation letters and stuff like that. Dude, 10-1, man, something's going on, right? And they don't want to get in trouble, because that's what it's going to boil down to. These guys are doing so much treasonous and evil stuff, dude. They should all be in jail, 100%. Right? If you guys been keeping up with everything that went with Hunter Biden's laptop, what they were doing, what they knew, what they didn't know, how they held evidence, how they tried to influence the election, right? Those people need to go to jail. That's why they're scared, man. That's why they don't want this person to get confirmed. If anybody's the most dangerous person, is this dude, Kash Patel, right? Because he knows things already. He was already in the first administration. He's very knowledgeable about this stuff. He knows he knows where everything's been buried, right? And he's just going to unearth it. I mean, he's already talking about just having one central hub where they're just going to declassify information that needs to be declassified. A lot of the stuff that the federal government, he talks about this too, Kash Patel. Just go look him up in the interviews, dude. I had a top secret clearance at one point in time. I can tell you this much. There's a lot of stuff that is a need to know basis, but there's a lot of things that they classify that they don't need to classify. But one of the reasons why they do that, right, is they don't want the people, because there's organizations that understand how Freedom of Information Act and all that kind of stuff works, but they know that these people out there, and they don't want people to know what they're doing. Right? It's shady, dude. And then some of it, man, and when you do stuff like that, that gives you a little bit of, they give you a little bit of a power trip, a little bit of power, abuse of power, and stuff like that, dude. So you want everything to be in that, and that's what Kash Patel talks about. He wants everything to be in the light. He wants transparency. That's the key. That's the word of the day, guys. Transparency. And I'm 100% for that. Right, because these dudes are in the shadows, doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, getting political when they're not supposed to be. The main reason why a lot of these organizations need to go is because they're too politicized.
Some governors are putting up a resistance. Gavin Newsom says he wants to spend millions to Trump-proof California, whatever that means. Other Democrats are saying, cut it out.
I do wonder what that means, the Trump-proof a state. Like, how do you Trump-proof a state in America? Like, what happens when you need the president of the United States of America for something? You know what I mean? Like, I don't quite understand what that means. Thinking about the policies, because when you say things like Trump-proof, you're going to end up looking like a hypocrite when, you know, you need the president for something and you all in his face smiling and cheesing the same way, you know, President Biden was after they called him a threat to democracy and all of these other things. And then he was like, welcome back, you know, when it came time for the White House, when he came. So it's like, cut it out.
Even Bill Clinton says enough is enough.
I do think we should stop trying to criminalize politics. But on the other, I think we should, both of us, because obviously, and the people don't like it and they're not going along with it from right to left.
Everyone's begging for mercy. Mexico, after getting threatened with a 25% tariff, just seized a record haul of fentanyl from the Sinaloa cartel. Trump hasn't even laid down the tariffs, and Mexico's getting their act together. Real men.
There's a lot of people that are criticizing him when he talked about the tariffs, right? But now you see what's happening in real time. I remember when that story broke. I was on X when it broke, right? They had this big raid. They were talking about the raid, right? It was a Chinese, I believe it was a Chinese mall or Chinese manufacturer, something like that. And as soon as I saw that, I knew what it was. It was about the drugs, right? Because the drugs are pouring into the country. That's a CCP thing, right? They're very butthurt of what happened with the opium wars. If you guys don't know what that is, go do some research, go look it up, go study that. They're basically taking that and they're just doing reverse engineering that and trying to apply it to their enemies now. And we're one of their enemies. And I'm talking about CCP, the government, guys, not the people, right? There's a lot of stuff going on in China. I do feel for their people because they're going to suffer, and they're suffering, and they're going to suffer more. But as soon as I saw that, dude, this is the power that Trump has, man. It's the power of persuasion. Dude, he tells people stuff, and when they look at what he says, they know he's serious about it. And also, there's an element of they don't know what he's going to do with it, right? Like if you listen, look, dude, if this is why you shouldn't listen to the mainstream media, because everything is every time Trump does something, dude, they're just 100% all in on him being a dictator and a fascist. And if you were here in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and you guys understood how good the economy was, that's because he knows how to wield these tariffs. The only problem I have with this when it comes to the tariffs is after he's gone, that's it. There's nobody there is no other Trump. Only he can do this kind of stuff because he knows how to do it. A lot of this built through his life experiences, right? And there's nobody else like him. I'm not saying somebody couldn't come in and try, but it won't be the same. Look, a lot of people take Trump seriously, especially when they look at him as a businessman. They look at what he did the first 4 years. Dude, they know he's not playing around. Dude, he said Mexico is going to get a 25% tariff, and Justin Trudeau flew down here to have a meeting with them. And then you guys heard about what he said to Justin Trudeau, because Trudeau was complaining about the tariffs and how it's going to wreck Canada. And Trump said, well, maybe Canada can be the 51st state, and you can be the governor or the mayor or whatever. And it's kind of like an off joke, but they don't know. You know, that's what I'm saying, dude. He says something, and then even the president of Mexico, right, female president, right, she kind of barked back at him about tariffs and illegal stuff, and she tried to stand her ground, and he smacked the 25 on her, and then she's like, oh, okay, well, we had a conversation, right? They come and bend the knee. All these guys are coming and bending the knee.
And are back in D.C. and all the little critters are trying to clean up the mess before Dad comes home. But they want to throw one last pardon palooza. They want Biden to toss a pardon blanket over the entire Capitol. Fauci, Jack Smith, Adam Schiff, even journalists. These jokers haven't even asked for pardons. Democrats are just assuming they'd want them because they know what they've done.
Yeah.
And Biden's thinking about it.
I think that they're taking every opportunity here to explore the options they have left in the time that they have left in office to protect people who may be subject to that attack.
No, it's not protect. It's not subject to protect them or subject to attack. It's to protect them from their crimes. All of these people are in on it, and these guys know this is why they're doing the things that they're doing. If you ever doubted that the election was stolen, if you ever doubted that these guys were trying to take him out, was spying on his campaign, all of that stuff that they said, all of this stuff that they're doing now proves it. Because if you weren't guilty, you wouldn't worry about it. But they know what they did. And then if you get these people into these positions, this is why I'm so hard on this. Like I really want, I don't like you hear you have all of a sudden, dude, you hear all these people in Washington talking about the sanctity of government service. They're talking about like ethics. Like these people are some of the most unethical people. And I'm saying across the board, all of these people. The Congress's approval rate is 80% for good reason. And all of these people are evil and whack, right? And so now all of a sudden, right, because they understand what time it is, dude. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares about the person's experience in the job. Nobody cares about how long government service they did. Nobody cares about any of this stuff. Like this one dude's a drinker. This lady's a communist, right? She works for Russia. Nobody cares about all this kind of stuff. And in fact, the more they keep on pushing, the more people begin to realize. This is why this election was such an eye opener. The more people begin to realize that these people are dirty and they're evil, and the more they keep on doing this, the more people realize that Trump is right. Right? And that these people need to be taken down. They need to be taken out, right? Politically, right? These people do not leave. They need to be fired. They need to be taken out of these positions, and ultimately they need to go to jail and pay a price. And that's not about Trump or politics or anything like that, dude. It's for the sake of the republic, dude. The republic is on shaky ground, man. These guys have been wielding this power, wielding this power, abusing this power, taking out political opponents, man. There's all kind of stuff that's out there, dude. I won't dive into it in this video. But the more time carries on, the more that's being revealed, the more that the truth comes out. I'm 100% behind all of these. There's no conspiracy theories, man. There's just truth that hasn't come to light yet, right? And it's happening in real time. That's why this stuff is interesting to me, guys. As I wrap this video up.
So yes, I think it is absolutely a serious process they're undergoing.
Biden's leaving office in the wake of pardons, orgies, alcohol, empty office buildings, and bubble baths. What a legacy. Click here to subscribe to the Fox.
I'll just end there right there, guys. Oh, what's up? What's up, Daniel? I am so sorry, guys. I was watching a video on YouTube so I could stop and comment there. What's up, brother? Yeah, thanks for being here, man. I know we got the WNBA draft. I got to go watch it. I hope I have time this weekend, but I do want to play Indiana Jones. I'm going to play some COD. I'm going to chance to play COD. I want to jump into some of my other games. And I want to do more videos, man. I want to talk about the report card and do some future casting for Xbox. But yeah, dude, I did not get to watch the WNBA. I heard some news, saw some clips, man. I looked like the Fever lost the one player that I did not want them to lose. I did not realize they had, I think it's 2 teams that are coming to the draft. Only knew about the Temple was one. I didn't know that Golden State was going to have a team too. Love the name though, Valkyrie. It matches. I don't know about the Toronto. Was it Temple? I don't know what that is. It's like you had a bunch of other names you could have went with. Amazon, Furies. Temple. That's weird. This ain't the 70s no more. And I love the 70s. But yeah, dude, welcome, brother. Sorry. Oh, hey, what's up, Zobi? Xbox is putting the blame on Sarabon for the reason Xbox games are going to all platforms. They're not, dude. They're not putting the blame on her, dude. That's her forte. That's who Sarabon is. She came over from T-Mobile, bro. Just go look at her. Go look at her stuff of what she's doing. But again, if Xbox and Microsoft is doing that, it's smart for them to do that because people love Sarabon. I mean, I'm one of them. I told you. Yeah, dude. I mean, look, Zobi, man, it's I know I'm doing this stuff on my channel now, but dude, this stuff has been crazy for the longest time, dude. I've never really touched on my channel because I wanted to be more focused on gaming. But again, man, like we talked about, dude, this election has been nuts. Isn't T-Mobile a failed phone service? I will say that they were, but they got incredibly better. But I don't think they're I don't think they're the top. And I think they could get even more better, especially if they want to compete. They're in this weird spot where they were like one of the reasons I like T-Mobile because they're the more affordable option, right? And for the services they gave you and some of the extra amenities, was really good for the price. Now they're getting more expensive, like everything else is, and so I think when I look at them now, it's like they're just kind of crunching, right, to the point where I'm like, well, I might as well upgrade if I'm thinking about upgrade. But I don't know if you've been paying attention, dude. Have you been paying attention to a lot of stuff going on this week, man? It's been crazy on Capitol Hill. I know I saw a video where you're talking about PlayStation. Hey, man, you know what I mean? It is what it is, dude. Um, yeah, but I'm not worried about Sarah or Xbox, dude. They got too much money for me to worry about. In fact, that's shifting gears, dude. I mean, when I look at what Microsoft's going to be doing, I'm gonna see how well they can thrive under a Trump presidency, and not just Microsoft. All the companies will benefit, right? But it'll be interesting to see how they course correct some of the stuff that they do, because politically charged, Microsoft is one of those companies, but they still maintain the business aspect of it. They're not all in like a Disney is, like Disney has become stuff like that. They understand that there's a business element of it. So it'll be interesting to see how they navigate the political waters. Already talked about this. Satya is one of the first people to congratulate President Trump. You know, probably plays Indian as well. He has ties to India. Probably speaks to President Modi of India. Um, so there's a lot of stuff they're probably doing that he wants to. You know, like we get a lot of employment from people in India, right? Their tech sector is growing. There's all of that stuff tied into one. So I'm not saying that they politically have to like each other or have to be friends, but one thing I do like about Microsoft is they do keep it business oriented for the most part. I think Satya might have to talk to some of the dudes at Xbox. But again, guys, I don't jump on that gravy train when it comes to Xbox, just for the simple fact that I see what Xbox does with it, right? As long as they're not trying to shove it, like as long as they're not trying to punish me for having my own opinion about what they want to do. But there's people at Xbox that are all in on this stuff, all the DEI stuff, all the woke stuff, right? All of that, and that came into fruition with what happened with the art director for Evolve, right? So I'm not shying away from that, but again, unlike some of these other people, somebody like me, I'm in the ecosystem. I own the console, I play the games, and I have the experiences that a lot of these guys don't. So I'm not even saying that these dudes are wrong. In fact, I encourage them to keep it going. As soon as DEI is dead, more better for us. Just look, dude. At the end of the day, there's always going to be casualties of war. Some stuff's going to be laid to waste. So that's why we need to get everything on the up and up, everything on the 100. And as soon as we can do that, man, we can all just carry on, move along, and enjoy our gaming for what it's supposed to be, just straight up gaming. None of this political, none of this socially engineered stuff that they like to do. Zoe, you still there though? Let me know. I think we could do I know Dale likes to do the podcast as well. But yeah, this is just basically. I just wanted to do a reaction for this video, and I didn't want to stay on long, man, because I do want to play my games. Thank you guys for those who came in live. I would like to record video. I just don't know how to do it and put it on my channel, so I just do it this way. So sorry if you're expecting for the Xbox stuff, but I will. Like I said, I'll try and do a reaction video later on tonight if I got time, because I do want to talk about that new video game that came out and tie it into Xbox. I know Xbox is called Project Mugen. Now it's called Anastan or something like that. They changed the name. So it's not listed to come to Xbox, and I kind of want to talk about that. Not in a bad way. Look, dude, I'm not going to cry if Xbox don't get games, dude. I have enough problems trying to keep my head above water with the stuff I have. Right? We have a ton of games to play, but there's some commentary I want to make, thinking of why this would be good. Games like this would be good for Xbox moving forward. Hey, what's up, dude? Let me know, man, if you want to do the political stuff. I can't do it tonight. I just want to do this video. I gotta go actually fire up some dinner, and then I want to play some games, and I gotta get up early tomorrow morning. But hit me up, man. Do you want to do something tomorrow morning? I honestly don't have any. I did the podcast last week for Xbox, so this is my week off of that. I was gonna do a podcast, but there's not too much stuff going on. I can talk about stuff, but I'm not really. I'd rather talk about the politics. Let me know, man. All right, hit me up. I'll just send you the link in the comment section, and I'll send one to Dea because she wants to do it. I think Hebot wants to do it as well, so I'll just send it in. I'll send it to them. I'll just send it to everybody. Hey, what's up, Face? What's up, brother? Hit me up. Yeah, I'll just send you the link, dude, and we can talk about it. Hey, bro, what's up, Face? Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I know I'm falling behind on my pop culture stuff. Did you see the Face? Did you see that new video, Project Mugen? Did you see the trailer for that? I was gonna do a reaction video. Not really a reaction video. I was gonna do a reaction video in a way, but I'm not gonna show my reaction, so I really can't call it that. But yeah, I'll probably do that later on. But yeah, I'm sorry. No, we gotta get the pop culture stuff back up and running. I've just been more involved in the politics and the Xbox stuff. And then tomorrow, I kind of want to get my report card. Dude, I saw T Reaper did it, man. That was ridiculous. He has like over what? I think he has almost 2,000 hours. Then there's this one girl. Man, I can't believe I forgot her name. She's really cool, dude. I like the stuff that she does. She posted her report card, dude, and she had over 2,000 hours, man. I think that's between us two. There's only the two people. Oh, I already ordered her up there, man. They're definitely the 1%. And even Snoop Dogg beat me, dude. I gotta get it back on my game, man. No, not yet. Sounds interesting. Yeah, go look it up, dude. The only thing is, it's not coming to Xbox yet. I think it eventually will. Or that Phil Dem is probably talking about it, or maybe Sony has a agreement with them. I don't think it's a Sony studio. That's why it's a third party studio. I could be wrong though. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I'm still gonna do the reaction to it because I was totally blown away by the video, and it's something that I've kind of been talking about at the channel. The direction I would like Xbox to go when it comes to Asia, Southeast Asia, Asia proper, and Southeast Asia. Right? I don't know about Korea now, man. They're over there doing martial law and stuff, so we might have to chill on Korea for a little bit. President Yoon, man, he just lost it. It's like your dad, you know. He's like he came home from work, dude, and just lost his mind, dude. Something happened, and just lost it, dude. I feel sorry for President Yoon. That's my boy, man. I like him, but he had a moment. Dude, that was crazy what happened, dude. And I feel for him, man, because I know why he did what he did, dude. I can see it, right? It's still wrong, right? He went a step too far. He sees that he's reading the tea leaves. There's stuff going on in South Korea right now with the culture, with the people, and he sees it, man. He's old school. He's traditional. He's conservative, right? He's that old school, right? That's kind of why he was brought in, right? To get back to norms. And you know, he has a opposition party, dude, that wants to change things, right? And you know, he feels like there's this whole thing. Look, there's this background of stuff that's going on over there. And I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm like, dude, what about my K dramas? What about Dokebi? You know what I mean? Microsoft, hurry up, get over there, man. Let's do some dealing. Let's get this stuff rolling, man. Let's get that economy fired up. But yeah, dude. So we might have to so I might have to slow my roll when it comes to Microsoft getting involved with South Korea. Right now, they got some stuff they got to work out. So it looks like it's gonna be Japan. And then a game dropped today, man, and it's from the dude that what's that, Miss Walker? Sorry guys, I'm trying to blank on the name, man, but that game looks absolutely awesome. I'm just gonna go buy it just to support him because of the support he gave Xbox in the beginning. The games that he were absolutely amazing, dude. If you guys don't have those old 360 games, try and get them, man. They're really good. In fact, maybe I'll do a reaction to that as well. That'd be worthy. But FaZe, let me know, man. I'll try and set up something this weekend, all right? And then I'll hit you up. I know I have you on Twitter, and we can do some pop culture stuff if you want. I know I actually wanted to do a trailer reaction to Moana and talk about Moana a little bit. Talk about Disney a little bit. Yeah, dude, I'll hit you up. Or the Xbox. Do you want to come on the Xbox thing? Sorry, you're an Xbox guy too. I'm not trying to exclude you, man. You know, dude, I'm old, man. I can't keep this up. Yeah, do Xbox stuff, dude. I'll just shoot you a link, bro. Is that cool? I'll just shoot you the link, dude. You can jump in with me and any of the other guys. I'm pretty sure he bought. I'll shoot him a link tomorrow. He bought and they unlimited. Did I keep on forgetting Tuck's name? Because I have him on Instagram, but I lose track of his, because he actually uses his name on Instagram. Yeah, dude. Okay, I'll shoot you, man. Anything, bro. I'll shoot it to you. But yeah, I gotta roll for now, guys. I gotta get the dinner fired up, man. Clean up the house a little bit, man. Get ready for tomorrow, and then yes, I gotta get up early in the morning. And then I want to play some games, dude. So I might go buy I think I might purchase the Indiana Jones. If I'm not purchasing that, I might go purchase the new game by Miss Walker, or just because I just want to try it out. Play it. All right, but anyway, man, thank you guys for tuning in, dude. If you guys come across this video a little bit later. I know it's politically charged, but I am a pro Xbox channel. We will talk about Indiana Jones. We will talk about other Xbox stuff later. But as you guys know, I've kind of turned my attention to politics because it's just been so interesting. This has been a huge week. Again, I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's butt. To let you guys know, man, that this is this has been an absolute change of pace for everything that's going on right now politically. And again, they'll be studying this moment in history if these things move accordingly to what the way they're supposed to move, or looks like to be moving. And then we'll get into it, man. Even when they start doing deliberations, man, for the approval process for a lot of these cabinet picks, man. I think that would be interesting to do that too. All right, but let me go for now, man. Thank you guys for the chat, Zobi, man. I'll hit you up tomorrow. FaZe, I'll hit you up as well. And then Daniel, man, thanks for being here. But Xbox All In channel, host Sega Forever, we out.